Greetings, dear suckers. My name's Joe Bob, and I'm very peeved. And welcome back to Scarlet Hollow. Last time, we had a lovely conversation about church rats, who may or may not be able to talk to people. And now, well, we're finally going to have that talk with Sybil. I'm certain it will be enlightening, one way or another. So, let's get right back into it, shall we? The bells of the general store chime welcomingly as you help bring Kanika inside. Ah, yes, her illness. Oh dear, Kanika, you poor thing. This is why you were supposed to stay in bed today. If you keep running around like this, it's going to take you so much longer to recover. I'll bet. Thank you both for getting her home. I hope you're feeling better after last night's fiasco. I hope you aren't feeling slick, Sybil, because you're not even slightly subtle, let alone slick. Hi, Mom. Go on, get up to bed. I'll be up in a minute with more tea. And Joe Bob, once she's all situated, I believe I owe you a chat. Indeed. For a start. Hopefully we can start to get to the bottom of whatever's happening to the town. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, if you're talking mystery-related stuff, I should be there. You should. But she's not going to let you, is she? Sweetie, you've done enough today. And you never like when I do tea readings anyway. I'm sure Joe Bob can catch you up once you're feeling better. If she's feeling better. Okay, you're right. Is she? My. You're feeling awfully agreeable today, aren't you, Kanika? I'm not feeling well. I should really lie down. Should you? Kanika heads towards the stairs and disappears without saying another word. I really hope the game's not going to go and assume that I'm just utterly stupid and didn't notice any of that. I mean, I could understand it not expecting me to pick up on some of this stuff as early as I did, but come on. Are those boo nuts? With a Z? Bog Witch Brownies Choco Nuts? Huh. Occultists. Anyway, you couldn't help but notice something stiff and quiet in her demeanor as she obeyed her mother's stern command. Yeah, no shit. There's something off here. It's as if Kanika's spirit dimmed at Sybil's words. Yet no shit, there's something off here, Mystical. A blind man could see that. Whatever that was, it didn't feel like the same person who stormed out of the general store just yesterday morning. That person wouldn't just do as she was told so easily. You couldn't help but notice an uncharacteristic firmness in Sybil's voice, too. Okay, promising. Obviously I already noticed all this, but maybe the game won't assume that I didn't. Maybe their relationship isn't so pleasant behind closed doors. Really? That's what you're latching on to? I mean, probably, but come on. And I'm so sorry to be a bad host, Avery, but I was hoping Joe Bob and I could do our reading in private. I'm sure Winnie needs help at the diner. Okay, come on, Avery. You've gotta see that she's clearly working her way towards isolating me. You might not realize all of what's going on here. You don't have the same information as I do, but come on. Oh, you're right. I've totally left her on her own today. No. Shit. Oh, of course you wouldn't be of any help. God damn it, I see it now. Yeah. I'd almost forgotten why I didn't... Well. Fine by me. I wouldn't want to mess with your tea vibes. I'm sure those leaves are very particular. Oh, but before I go, I did want to ask... Are you a witch? That's a funny question. What even is a witch, eh? Avery does not beat around the bush. Indeed. As flattered as I am that you think I'm that magical, I'm just an old lady who likes tea and has a few unusual hobbies. Like being a witch. Technically, she didn't say no there. Look, I'm just saying, doing stuff like reading tea leaves is pretty witchy as far as I'm concerned. But I won't push it. Yeah, I'll bet you won't. Though just so you know, if you are a witch, you can totally tell us. We'd be cool about it. Yes, indeed. You being a witch is the least concerning thing about you. Well, the least concerning relevant thing about you anyway. I'll leave y'all to your not supernatural private tea leaf reading. We'll catch up tomorrow, Joe Bob. Yeah, assuming I'm still alive tomorrow, anyway. I'll be fine. Assorted minerals. Authentic rocks, as opposed to fake rocks, I guess. I mean, guess there's plenty of those, but still. What does that say? TMIU exclamation mark. Tamiyu. What the fuck is Tamiyu? I don't know. It might be TMLU, actually. It probably isn't Taiwanese Mandarin language understanding, so I don't know what. They make their way out of the general store, disappearing down the street in the direction of the diner. Shall we? Sybil motions towards the tea room. Sure, why not? Nice. Yeah, I see you noticed that too, in 3 different flavors. You didn't actually deny being a witch. Well, I don't like to lie. I'll bet. But it's not something I just want anyone knowing, so let's keep it between us. I'll bet. She gives you a mischievous smile. You're not really as nice as you seem, are you? What makes you say that? Is this because I had to be firm with my daughter? Anika has a way of ignoring her body when it's telling her to slow down. You mean, ignoring you when you're telling her to slow down. Sometimes it takes a firm reminder from her mother to get her to take the time she needs to recover. It's all part of the job when you're a parent, no matter how old your children are. Those are all very pretty words. However, Kanika didn't seem like herself just then. You're right. She hasn't been feeling exactly herself the past few days. All the stress she's been under, plus that cold of hers. The past few days? That's all I've known her for. Are you saying that was her not being herself? But I'm sure it'll clear up soon. She just needs to take it easy, drink some tea, and not go running all over town until she feels better. Ah, okay. So no, you weren't trying to imply that, you just didn't actually think your little flimsy deception through, did you? Shame there's no way to color on that, but oh well. Okay then, I'll just be straight with you. What did you do to Kanika? Do? It almost sounds like you're accusing me of something. The only thing I did was tell her she should rest, as any mother would. And she listened, as any child would. That right. We are both men of action. Lies do not become us. And absolutely no option to follow up on any of those, naturally. I'm allergic to tea! Run away. No way am I spending any time alone with you. I don't trust you. Ignore Sybil and follow Kanika? Or follow Sybil to the tea room. All interesting options. Let's see. What does this do? Yeah, just straight up, ignoring that. This seems to be the same. Where is this leading? I wonder. Probably just another... I'm curious. You push past the old woman, heading up the staircase to Kanika's room. Sybil calls after you, but you ignore her. Something isn't right here. No shit. As you walk away, Sybil calls out to you. You should really hear me out. Your fate may depend on it. You defiantly walk up the stairs. Sybil can't stop you from seeing her daughter. As you do so, your thoughts flash back to that door yesterday. The one that seemed to draw you in, urging you deeper into the clinic. Even the memory of the door tugs at you, compelling you to return and open it to see what's on the other side. You can find Stella later. Maybe you can even find her there. What's important now is finally seeing what's hidden in the clinic. I feel like this is just the game's way of clumsily telling us, okay, you've had your fun running around looking for Stella. Now actually start progressing the plot. Anyway, I assume this isn't the door. You knock on Kanika's door. Mom, I really don't need any more tea. I think I'm just going to lie down for a while. I'm not your mom. I don't think I am, anyway. I don't even know if Sybil is... Oh, Joe Bob, what's up? Can I come in? Sorry, Joe Bob. My mom was right. I'm exhausted. I probably shouldn't push it or I'll wind up worse off tomorrow. It looks like you're on your own. Okay, that's that then. Hang on. I was hoping we could spend a little more time together. Same result. I need to talk to you. It's important. Exact same result. Exact same result. Exact same result. Exact same result. Down to the word, if I'm not mistaken. Fancy that. You aren't even being slightly subtle, are you, Sybil? Okay then, let's play your game. Please, have a seat. I'll bring you a fresh cup. You take a seat at the small table at the edge of the room. It's dark here, only a sliver of sunlight able to filter through the heavy curtains, supplemented by the bright grow lights over the plant in the corner. Oh, look at that. That looks neat. All hail the helix and all that. Probably doesn't matter. It's castor bean, an incredibly toxic plant, and strange for a tea maker to keep around in her workspace. I'll bet. Sybil joins you at the table and places a cup in front of you. It smells light and citrusy, with an undercurrent of decaying earth. I'll be able to do a reading once you're done. Until then, how about we just chat? Pretend to sip your tea, while looking for an opening to dump it in one of the potted plants behind you. Sounds like a plan. I'm kinda curious what will happen if I say I'm not going to drink this. Then I'm afraid I can't be of much help. Tea readings are my specialty. If I don't have your leaves, I can't do a reading. Forces me to drink. Okay. Actually, what happens if I just leave? I can visit her before I leave. Okay, here we go then. You lift the tea to your mouth and pretend to take a sip, carefully waiting for a moment when she's looking away to toss its contents into a nearby plant. Let's just hope it simply being that close to my nose isn't damaging enough. If you catch my drift. Probably not. Not for such a brief amount of time, anyway. Quit yanking me around. Quit yanking me around. You have something to tell me, just come out and say it. I'll need your tea leaves first. I have pieces of the puzzle, but the tea leaves should help give me the full picture. And here's your opening. Dump that tea. Yes, when she's got her eyes closed genially. Use that little presentation of hers to our advantage. Spill the tea. No thank you. You take advantage of Sybil's broken attention to quickly dump your tea into one of the pots behind you. So, how did you wind up in Scarlet Hollow? I'm not certain she did, actually. But let's see what lie she comes up with. It could be enlightening. Oh, my family's been in these hills for a long time. That's how I know so much of the local flora. Everything I've learned was handed down from generations of hill folk. I'll bet. There hasn't always been a reliable doctor up here, especially not one most folks could afford. They have to figure out their own medicine. The other day you promised to tell me... what was it? Unsavory tales of my mom's youth? I most certainly did, though I might have been exaggerating a bit for dramatic effect. I'm prone to do that. I'll bet. You certainly have a high level of drama to you. In the Disco Elysium sense, anyway. In a town this size, you get to know everybody, no matter what the age difference might be. Vivian was a little younger than me, which meant I always had a certain older sister instinct about her. A little younger than you, eh? I'll bet. Her family wasn't good to her. Pearl Ann was a lot like your great-grandmother, Edwardine, which is to say, she was not a very kind woman. Similar to Tabitha, but with more social grace, and considerably more hatred for her fellow man. So, not very much like Tabitha, then. But your mother wasn't a shrinking violet, either. She was just as stubborn as any other Scarlet, so her family choosing her as their punching bag made her into quite the rebel. I'll bet. I feel like I know a lot about the women in my family, but what about the men? Did they even exist? I suppose they just haven't been very noteworthy since Edwardine took over the mines. Until now, of course. Her husband died a long time ago, and to be quite honest, I can't even recall his name. Is that right? Might have been Stuart, or something just as forgettable. From what Vivian said, her father was some teenage fling that ended once your grandmother found out she was pregnant. Indeed. I'm fairly certain it was similar for Vivian, though she was much older, and I believe she was the one who ended it, what with skipping town and all. Why were Pearl Ann and my mom raised by Edwardine? What happened to their mother? Their entry into this world was violent, I'm afraid. Their mother was young. Too young to be pregnant, especially with twins. She didn't survive the labor. Skill issue. Anyway, what do you know about my grandma? I'm afraid there isn't much I can tell you. Because you don't know it? Or... I think there were two in that generation. The eldest died when the girls were still children. Edwardine never spoke about them, nor did your mother. What happened when my mom found out she was pregnant? She came to me for advice. She was distraught. A dangerous pastime. It was like she'd been handed a death sentence. Maybe it was fear from what had happened to her own mother. Maybe it was something else. But she seemed convinced she was in danger. Tabitha had already been born by then, of course, but she was born in wedlock, so I assumed your mother's worries had something to do with religion. Though the Scarlets weren't particularly religious as far as I knew. But the way Vivian was that night she came to me, it stuck in my mind. It's always had me wondering what it was about your family that made her panic so much at the thought of having a baby. A good question. But I have a feeling you know the answer to that question, don't you? I mean, you put on a stellar performance for me. And certainly I'm not, well, certain of it, but if anyone would know, it would be you. All done. Oh good, glad you found the tea palatable enough to drink. It should do you some good. It's one of my more medicinal blends. I'll bet. Now, on to business. Sybil takes the cup from you, staring thoughtfully down at the sludge. It's gonna be rather annoying if she does actually have tea reading skills that let her know that actually I didn't drink it. Even though, obviously, the tea reading is not the point. That doesn't mean she doesn't have mystical tea reading skills, you know? Oh well, we've made our choice. Oh dear, this doesn't bode well. You've got just about every warning that can fit in the bottom of a cup. Cross, kettle, hourglass. Oh. Is that right? All of these mean death, misery, difficulty, and the hourglass ties it all together with definite urgency. Fancy that. Now, hold on just one moment. I just want to check something. It's the exact same. Yeah, she's a fraud. Definitely. Just wanted to check. You know, just in case. For posterity. Not that it really matters. But it's good to know anyway. That being said, cross, kettle, hourglass. All at the bottom of the cup. Obviously this is fraudulent, of course, but what is she trying to tell me by these? Eh? Those three specifically. Fortunately, I do actually have a modicum of expertise in this. It's been a while, but I believe that the cross and kettle are indeed symbols of some variety of great suffering. At the bottom of the cup, anyway. The kettle has some more variance in its meaning, but yes, at the bottom of the teacup they are both that. But it's the specifics that the devil arises. The cross is a symbol of suffering, yes, but also of duty in the face of great temptation, making sacrifices for the good of those close to you. The requirement of having courage and, indeed, faith, hence the cross. Since it's at the bottom, it means these trials will be significant and prolonged. But overall, the message here is of suffering and of sacrifice. My sacrifice. And of having faith in that sacrifice. And overcoming all great trials overcome through perseverance and sacrifice, and trusting your faith to see you through. That's what a cross at the bottom of the cup seems to mean here. Now, a kettle is more varied, as I mentioned. A kettle also signifies bad situations, but the placing of it matters a lot. For instance, the top of the teacup indicates that you're in a bad situation currently, but you have the ability to turn it to your benefit. The middle, I don't quite remember what the middle means, actually. But the bottom of the teacup means that you don't know how to deal with the situation. That you lack the knowledge to tackle the tough decisions that you're facing. That you, perhaps, need help. Amusingly, if it was a teapot rather than a kettle at the bottom of the teacup, that would actually mean kind of the opposite, that you shouldn't rely on the advice of others. And the two are, of course, rather similar. So that's funny. And the hourglass, as mentioned, means that urgency is required. Except it doesn't, actually. It does if it were, say, near the top or on the handle of the teacup. What you might not know is that if it's at the very bottom of the teacup, not on the sides, not on the rim, not around the handle, but at the bottom, that means that your time to solve whatever imminent situation is already over, and now you must simply face what's to come, for good or for ill. So her intended meaning is clearly that suffering and bad times are to come, but I can see it through if I have faith, trust in the advice of others, and make sacrifices, but only if I act with urgency. While the actual meaning is that the time to act is already past, and I have already either doomed myself to suffering or set things up in such a way that I will be able to turn it to my benefit, or have already turned it to my benefit. Not that it has any actual meaning, of course, given that she's clearly making this shit up, and even if she wasn't, well, it's tea reading. But still, the workings of a skilled manipulator, as she probably is, are of great interest to me. It's fair to assume that this all has to do with whatever brought the ditchlings. Something is coming, and whether any of us can stop it, I'm not sure. But we may at the very least be able to figure out what it is. Something has already come, actually. But never mind. And there's a central figure here. A cat. An enemy lurking in plain sight. A cat, huh? A cat. A cat. Oh yes. The crafty and subtle. Hypocrisy and treachery and deception. Especially when at the very bottom of the cup, as I assume this is. It indicates dealings with people who are not as genuine as they would like themselves to appear. Warning you of ulterior motives and dishonest acts. Now, who could that possibly be referring to, Sybil? Who on earth? What central figure, lurking in plain sight, could that possibly be? A mystery we will take to our graves, I suppose. I've also heard it said that it tells you to listen to your instincts when they are telling you there is something wrong. But don't worry, Sybil. I have been listening very well to my instincts. This is bullshit. I didn't even drink the tea. Let's not. I'd like to see. I'm sure it wouldn't make much sense to most people. It'll probably just look like a confusing mess of old leaves. But you're free to take a look. You take the cup, staring down at it. There's no pattern. Nothing swimming together in the dregs of your tea to give you any warnings or premonitions. Naturally, given that she's an obvious fraud. After a long moment, Sybil takes a cup back from you. I hope that settled your curiosity. Don't worry if you couldn't make sense of it. It takes years to learn this sort of thing, even for someone with your propensities. I don't doubt it. It takes a long time to become as good a bullshit artist as you, eh? Even for one of my propensities. She winks conspiratorially. How do I know you're not making things up? I don't. Or rather, I do. I suppose you don't. For what's the harm in humoring an old woman? Good question, Sybil. What is the harm? Ooh! The cat's gotta be Pixel! Those are the two cats I know. I think you're being slightly too literal there. Yeah. The cat could be Dustin. He's a possum who lives in my dresser, and I try and talk to him every day to hear his wisdom and help with his troubles. It would break my heart if he's the traitor. Friendship ended with Dresser Rat. Now anybody else is my best friend. Dear, I don't think you need to be worried about the possum living in your dresser being the cat. You're almost certainly looking for a human enemy. Well, assuming she is human after all. I don't actually know that. How do I know you're not the cat? I suppose you don't. So I think the cat wouldn't exactly warn you about itself. Oh, please. This isn't my first anything. That is exactly what the cat would do. I've seen that ploy a million times. I've done that ploy a million times. Still, you can't rule anyone out. Even the old woman with a tea obsession. Well, that is exactly what the cat would say, but then that's because it's exactly what someone who isn't the cat would say. The best lies obviously sound exactly like the truth. Well, that's not entirely true. Lies can sound far more convincing than the truth. But then, if you know that, then, well, never mind. You don't have to figure out an answer right away. It often takes time for the mind to connect the dots. Oh, don't worry. I had my answer before I even came here. This is just further evidence. Just be on guard and keep vigilant that someone close to you isn't to be trusted. You know from the ditchlings that something terrible is coming your way, and it's likely that it's connecting to some hidden enemy. Connecting? You mean connected? Perhaps we can try to counteract whatever might be planned for you. Yeah, here it is. Judging by what you told me last night, those stones, carvings, seals, whatever you want to call them, I think it's likely they have something to do with this. Until the cat reveals itself, it seems like your best course of action is to seek these carvings out. Piece together what you can from your visions, and arm yourself with information. Your information? Have you sensed any others around town? Do you think you might be able to find another? Yeah, here it comes. Hold on. Let me just... I wonder, what will she say about each of these? I'm curious, honestly. The cat could be Tabitha. Oh, that's interesting. She keeps trying to get me to stay at the estate, but is she trying to keep me safe? Or is she trying to stop me from finding something? A compelling question, and it's just like the cat to make its motives indecipherable. You'd best be on your guard. Be suspicious of anything she asks you to do. It's clear something bad is coming your way, and let's suppose for a second that you're right, and it's possibly connected to your cousin. Knowing this means we can try to counteract whatever she might have planned for you. From what Tabitha said, it seems she wants you to stay put and stop snooping around. But we actually get along really well. She's warmed up to you then? That's even worse. If you're right and she's the cat, that means she's managed to deceive you. Be careful. She may not have your best interest at heart. It's clear something... Yes. Yes, I see the picture here. I figured as much. And... it's just like the cat to keep people at arm's length while holding on to secrets. Yes. You are just going to reinforce everything that I say, aren't you? This is how you're operating. I knew there was something. I figured you'd try something like this. It's a little application of cold reading gets me to present you with whoever I'm most suspicious with. And then you simply reinforce whatever that suspicion was by whatever angle I give you. Yes. 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 It's not even a matter of pushing me away from that person, because it doesn't matter who it is. It's about pushing me toward her. Or maybe it does. Hang on. No, wait, hang on. That's interesting. These are... Oh, I'm glad I did... I'm glad I went and to check these. Okay. No, it is specifically Tabitha, isn't it? That's... Oh. Now that's interesting. Every other choice she pushes me away from, but Tabitha she pushes hard into by whatever angle I give her. Now that is very, very telling. And here I thought this was just a simple cold reading shenanigan in order to push me toward trusting you above everyone else. Oh no, this is something a fair bit more sinister, isn't it? Okay, let's continue with this path then. Judging by what you told me last night, those stones, carvings, seals, whatever you want to call them, I think it's likely they have something to do with this. Until the cat reveals itself, it seems like your best course of action is to seek these carvings out. Piece together what you can from your visions, and to arm yourself with information. Have you sensed any others around town? Do you think you might be able to find another? Fishing for information, huh, Sybil? Your thoughts drift to that door yesterday, the one that seemed to draw you in, urging you deeper into the clinic. Even just remembering it is enough to tug at you, compelling you to return and to open it to see what's on the other side. You can find Stella later. Maybe you can even find her there. What's important now is finally seeing what's hidden in the clinic. Is it? You didn't get all of this from the tea leaves. Of course not. Tea leaves are merely a guide. Sometimes they can help confirm suspicions, or fill in where my intuition falls short. And sometimes they're merely a convenient excuse for something far more sinister. My family has lived in these hills a long time, as has yours. Well, part of it. Sure. I know the Scarlets have secrets. I know Vivian was scared for you. But your place in all this is something we have to figure out together. And that's where little tricks like tea leaves come in handy. But we shouldn't digress. Do you know where you might find the next stone? I know it's probably not a comfortable proposition, considering what's happened around them the past couple nights, but anything that happens around those stones may be worth it if it means you're able to get ahead of your adversary and whatever threatens this town. I think that's all the help I can offer. I hope this conversation has been illuminating, even if it just brought up more questions than giving any clear answers. Oh no! Oh no, Sybil. You have given me many rather clear answers. Far more than you gave me questions. Ha! You dummy! I never even drank the tea! Magic is fake! Best not. You helped last night. Why don't you come with me? I may have been able to see through that spirit's illusions, but I'm not some kind of all-powerful entity. Neither are any of us. What does that matter? I'm an old woman. I have trouble with my knees. And my eyesight isn't what it used to be. In most situations, I'd be more of a liability than a helpful companion. Well, you're right about that part, certainly. Imagine if I'd been in those mines with you. Some use I'd be, struggling to climb over rocks and ladders, throwing my back out from all the crouching. All you did was look at some leaves and tell me to go put myself in danger. Ha! Oh no, she has given me a lot more than just that. Thank you, Sybil, for a extremely enlightening conversation. Hopefully even the slowest of you in the audience have long since figured out what the fuck is going on here. With Sybil, at least. More or less, anyway. You get up to leave the tea room. Thank you again for humoring an old lady and stopping by for a chat. With a small grunt of effort, Sybil gets up from the table, and you're escorted back to the door. And remember, be careful who you put your trust in. According to your tea, the cat is getting ready to pounce, and merely being ready for it might not be enough. Oh, don't worry about that, Sybil. I am very particular with who I put my trust in. Perhaps you should be more concerned about what you put your trust in. Sybil closes the door to the tea room, the bells of its door strangely flat in the stale air of the nearly empty general store. That's that then, and as I expected, that was very much enough to take up a video on its own. A very fruitful episode. Sybil just about laid it all bare, or a sizable portion of it anyway. Certainly more than I expected her to. I mean, more than I expected to her, barring the possibility that this is where she makes her move anyway. And we got out of there without drinking that damnable tea once again. Good, good. I wonder, that goat, is it affected in a similar way? It was. Yes, I think it was. Well, I can't claim that I have all of the puzzle pieces, but I think I do have enough to get a general picture of the final product. Or at least this part of it, anyway. I'm glad the game didn't consider me a complete dunce there, although there was a lot that I would have liked to press her on that I wasn't able to, which is unfortunately a little telling, but I'd consider that a partial success, nevertheless. So, without any further ado, I have been Joe Bob, and I'm very peeved. And remember, dislike the video, unsubscribe if you're for some reason subscribed, and leave a nasty comment in the comment section down below. Fuck you all so much for watching, and so long, suckers.
You're gonna be okay, kid.